One of these crocodiles bites down harder than any animal alive today. Harder than a lion, harder than a great white shark, hard enough to rival a T-Rex. And I've saved it for the very end. Because before you meet the king, you have to understand the 8 predators standing between you and it. And some of them break every rule you think you know about crocodiles. So stick with me all the way down. The deeper we go, the stranger and the deadlier they get. And that last one is worth the wait. Let's start where crocodiles rule, right in America's own backyard. In the swamps of Florida and Louisiana floats something that looks like a waterlogged log. Then the log opens 2 eyes. This is the American alligator, armored, ancient, and built like a tank. Its ancestors watched the dinosaurs disappear and barely changed a thing since. Its jaws slam shut with over 2,000 pounds of force, enough to crush a turtle's shell like an eggshell. A rabbit wouldn't feel a thing. It would simply be gone. And yet, here's the twist nature loves. The muscles that open that same mouth are so weak that a grown adult could hold them shut with 2 bare hands. It hunts by doing almost nothing. It drifts, motionless, disguised as driftwood, until a deer leans down to drink. Then the still water detonates. But this animal isn't only a killer, it's an engineer. In the dry season it digs deep pits, called gator holes, that trap water and keep fish, turtles, and birds alive through the drought. 50 years ago, it was nearly gone, listed as endangered. Then, in 1987, it was declared fully recovered, back in the millions, one of the greatest comebacks in the history of wildlife. Ancient, armored, and almost impossible to erase. This next one has a face built for nightmares, and it wouldn't hurt you if you swam right past it. Say hello to the gharial. That impossibly thin, needle-like snout is unlike any other crocodile on Earth, lined with more than 100 interlocking teeth, more than almost any hunter in the water. But look at what it actually eats, and the fear drains away. Those teeth aren't for you. They're for fish. The gharial hunts like a swordsman. It sweeps that slender jaw sideways through the river faster than your eye can follow, and the thin snout meets so little resistance that a slippery fish is trapped before it even knows the water has changed. The males wear something odd, a round pot-shaped bump on the tip of the snout, called a gara. They use it to buzz and hum across the water to call for a mate. And here's the heartbreak. This gentle giant is vanishing. Fewer than 250 breeding adults are left in the wild rivers of India and Nepal, a crash of nearly 98% in a single lifetime. Sand mining, tangled nets, rivers drying up. The most frightening face on this list belongs to the one we are closest to losing. Strange, gentle, and running out of time. If that one couldn't hurt you, what happens when a crocodile turns wading itself into a weapon? Deep in the marshes and slow rivers of India lives the mugger crocodile. The name comes from the Hindi word magar, and this animal has a patience most hunters can only dream of. It can lie perfectly still for hours, its heartbeat dropping to just 2 or 3 beats a minute, slower than yours in the deepest sleep, so that not one ripple ever gives it away. Picture it. A deer lowers its head to drink. The surface is glass, it blinks, and the water erupts. But patience isn't its only trick. When the dry season bakes the land, the mugger digs a burrow deep into the riverbank and vanishes inside, waiting out the heat like a ghost in the walls. And here's the part that unsettles scientists. Muggers have been seen balancing sticks across their snouts during nesting season, luring in birds that are searching for twigs. A reptile, using bait, patient, hidden, and always watching. This next one gallops across dry land like a horse. It throws its whole body out of the water to snatch prey off the branches above. And drop for drop, it may be the most aggressive crocodile on the planet. It's not the biggest. It's the Cuban crocodile. At around 10 feet, it's barely half the length of the giants still to come. But keepers who handle every kind of crocodilian on Earth rank this one as the feistiest of them all, fast to charge, faster to bite, fearless far beyond its size. Its legs are longer and stronger than other crocodiles, which is exactly how it pulls off that gallop and that leap. Its blunt back teeth crack turtle shells like walnuts. And researchers have even seen signs of Cuban crocodiles hunting in coordinated pairs, something almost unheard of in a reptile. But here's the cruel part. This little firecracker has the smallest home of any crocodile alive, a single swamp in Cuba, called the Zapata. Fewer than 3,000 are left in the wild, and they're quietly being erased, their bloodline diluted as American crocodiles drift into their shrinking world. If a crocodile that gallops on land is already blowing your mind, hit subscribe, because number 8 bites down harder than anything alive today. Small, savage, and cornered on a single island. That last one owned a single swamp. This next one owns the coastlines of 2 continents. The American crocodile ranges from the southern tip of Florida down through Central America, all the way to the northern edge of South America. And it survives where most crocodiles simply cannot, in salt water. Tucked under its tongue are special glands that push salt back out of its body, so it can cross open sea and hunt in mangrove estuaries no freshwater cousin could ever handle. It's a stalker. At dusk, it becomes nothing more than a long shadow sliding between the mangrove roots, unhurried, waiting for a fish or a crab or a careless bird to drift too close, until the shadow stops being a shadow. But here's what surprises people. This is one of the shyer crocodiles. Unlike the man-eaters still to come, it usually slips away from us, rather than toward us. In South Florida, it lives right beside neighborhoods and power plant canals, and almost nobody ever gets hurt. Silent, salt-proof, and rarely seen. We've met the rarest. We've met the widest-ranging. Now, meet the biggest hunter in the entire Amazon. The black caiman rules the rivers of South America, and it's the largest member of the alligator family on Earth. Big males stretch past 16 feet, longer than the canoe a fisherman paddles down that very same river. Heavy enough to drag a full-grown capybara, or even a jaguar, down beneath the surface. Its skin is the darkest of any crocodilian, almost pure black. And that color is a weapon. By day, it soaks up heat. By night, it makes the caiman nearly invisible, melting into the black water, because night is when it hunts. While smaller caimans hang back in the shallows, this one prowls the dark, using razor-sharp hearing and eyesight to lock onto prey. You wouldn't hear it. You wouldn't see it. There'd just be a swirl, and then nothing. For the river communities of the Amazon, this isn't a legend. It's a real danger at the water's edge. Once hunted to the brink for its fine dark hide, the black caiman is clawing its way back, which means the shadow is returning to the water. Dark, immense, and the last thing you'd ever see. So which one of them actually kills the most people? This one, the Nile crocodile, the deadliest crocodile on Earth. Across sub-Saharan Africa, it's blamed for hundreds of human deaths every single year. One study counted somewhere between 200 and 700 attacks a year, and close to 2/3 of them are fatal. That's more people than lions kill. Far more. And the reason is heartbreakingly simple. It hunts exactly where people live. At the riverbank, where villagers fetch water, wash clothes, and cast their nets. The Nile croc lies waiting, invisible, for something to lean too close. When the wildebeest migration hits the river, you see what it can truly do. Thousands of animals plunge in. The water churns. A crocodile clamps down, spins its whole body in a violent death roll, and drags its prize under before the herd even reaches the far bank. And yet, the same jaws that kill can be astonishingly gentle. When her eggs hatch, the mother scoops her tiny newborns into that enormous mouth and carries them softly down to the water. In Burundi, they still speak of Gustave, a giant Nile croc rumored to have taken more than 300 people, never caught, perhaps still out there. Cold, calculating, and utterly without mercy. Which brings us, at last, to the top. The one I've made you wait for. The saltwater crocodile, the largest reptile alive on Earth, and the animal behind that promise from the very first second of this video. The big males reach 20 feet and weigh more than a ton, heavier than a small. Car, a body of pure muscle and armor with almost nothing on the planet willing to challenge it. It patrols the estuaries and coasts from India through Southeast Asia to northern Australia, and it thinks nothing of swimming hundreds of miles across open ocean to claim a new stretch of water. It is the ultimate ambush. It waits at the river mouth, still as death, for anything to come down to drink. Then it strikes, locks on, and rolls, that same death spin, but with a power nothing survives. And in northern Australia, it's the reason people stay out of the water, because if you were swimming beside one, you'd never hear it coming. The biggest, the strongest. And I still haven't told you the most terrifying part. Remember the promise from the very start? A bite stronger than a lion, stronger than a great white shark, rivaling a T-Rex? This is it. When scientists measured the bite of every crocodile alive, this one won, slamming its jaws shut with around 3,700 pounds per square inch, enough to snap bone like a dry twig. The most powerful bite ever measured in any living animal. It was here, waiting at the very end, the whole time. So, which one stuck with you? Drop its number in the comments. I'm betting a lot of you are going with number 4, the one that gallops on land. But prove me wrong. And if your favorite crocodile didn't make the cut, tell me which one I missed. I read every single comment. Nature never built these animals to be fair. It built them to win. And they've been winning for over 200 million years. See you in the next one.